Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James and Kellee.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show. Hi there. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. A funny story. I got my dogs groomed today,
You did.
and they made one of my dogs looks very different than when I brought her in. She looks very different when I brought her out. Even Dawn was like, whoa. It's like when you get your hair cut in a really off way.
Oh, yes.
That was my day today.
And were you upset about that, or was
Well,
it?
I had to get used to her. Dawn said to me, "Did you bring home the right dog?" So that was how my day went.
Wow. Well, I had a good day. I finally used the vegetables in my garden. So I had some nice food today from the vegetable garden, and I'm now using everything from the garden instead of going to the grocery store for produce.
How great is that?
I know. It's been a long 2 years in the making, but it's working.
Oh,
And it's spring here, so it's great in California.
yes. And how's your
And
garden? Is your
uh,
garden great?
That's great. Snails, I got to do snail baiting stuff all over the place, some organic snail stuff. That's fine. I just say, ask God, go to God. I have to hear about the food cycle every time I go to the garden. From this lady's working in the garden, she said, "Well, it's a food cycle. So there's snails that bring snakes for the rats. I said, I don't want to hear about the. Please don't tell me about the life cycle of the food cycle. I just want to see flowers." But it's great. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm getting things tied up, and I'm going to start writing two books together, and some more creative things happening. So so we're happy.
Great. And
And
we have
tonight I'm really I'm thrilled, as you know, because we have a special guest tonight, and he's as you know, I'll tell everyone here that's welcome everybody. Good to feel everyone here. This person we're going to bring on tonight is a good friend, a very special friend of mine, best friend, a special friend. And I say he's my earth guide, as we all have earth guides, I think, in our lifetime. We all have various people in our lives. We look back at our lives and see those people that made a very special mark in our lives and our journey. There are those. And I don't know, Kellee, how many would you say you've had? I can count mine probably in one hand.
I was just going to say about three or four.
Yeah. And I know it's about 3 or 4. And Peter Redgrove is one of them. I met Peter Redgrove, we're going to have on tonight, over 25 years ago. Probably 1996, you can tell you exactly the date. And I was doing a demonstration at 8th Particles Los Angeles that I helped form, APLA. And he saw me there, and then he had a private reading with me at the time. And some incredible things came through. He'll mention that. And anyway, we became very good friends after that. And we sent development circles for many years. And he said, "James, you have a greater need here. You have a greater a calling to the world, and you need to write a book about your experiences." And I didn't want to write a book. And Peter pushed me to write Talking to Heaven. And if it wasn't for Peter, I would have never written Talking to Heaven, because he was able to see in me psychically. It's almost like he could see my soul. And he helped me and pushed me to get to that point of, you have to do this for the world. I just know you must do this for the world. And he's always been, because of that, I mean, here we are. And think of the millions of people that he's helped.
I mean, if it weren't for him helping you, I wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't be doing the show. Exactly. And all of the help that you've given people throughout, these past 35 years, that's an extraordinary story.
Yes.
They're going to love him. You guys are going to love Peter.
I love Peter, and I want to share with Peter, and I've been pushing Peter now for me to push him, because it's full circle, because I know he can help people, and he really has a desire to help people. And it's not life coaching, but I call him soul coaching, because he can see people's souls, know about them, and he's been through so much himself in his own life that he can share the experience, and he brings people back to their life goals, their life, what they're meant to do. So he's our guest tonight. So So without further ado, my good friend Peter Redgrove. Peter, welcome to the show. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. So glad you're with us tonight.
Hello, everybody. Build up. Oh my goodness.
Everybody's excited.
Yes.
Well, I'm
So,
excited.
yes, from Australia we have calls here. From Germany we have calls here. From all over the States. So, Peter, tell people first of all. I know we met many years ago, and now, why do you feel you wanted to get involved in this type of work? I'd say soul coaching. Is that you would call it soul coaching or?
Well, yeah, it's coaching. It's really helping people get in touch with their better selves. And I've always, as you know, James, what's the point of experience and knowledge if you don't share it?
Yes.
And this time in my life, I think it's the right time.
I agree.
I wouldn't say it's the last chapter, but it's close. And, I've had a lot of experience in life, somewhat like, the salmon swimming upstream. And that's kind of how my life has been. And it's been rich in experience, in life experience, and overcoming obstacles.
Abuse. If you overcame abuse, you overcame many things.
Yeah, but it's like you have a choice. You can either let those events diminish you as an individual, or if you're given the strength from the powers that be, I don't assume it's all from me, you can use that experience to strengthen yourself and other souls that you come into contact with during your life. And I've been fortunate enough to have taken the latter choice. I've used all of that experience, as painful as it was, to, as it were, build a better life, not only for myself, but for many, many people that I've come into contact with during life.
And Peter, when tonight is about being stuck. If you look back at your life, can you choose one event or see one event in your life that you felt stuck in, and you had to go deep within and change that situation? What was that?
Yeah, there's a story I may have told you before. I had a moment of enlightenment, and it was kind of took its strange form, but it did the job. I was with a very, very well-known playwright in New York. I was living there at the time, and we were good friends. And good enough that when I was going on my usual rant, because I was unhappy and cynical and miserable, because I was playing the blame game, because I had a miserable childhood with glimpses of happiness, but not much. And he just got up. We were in a restaurant. He got up from the table, and I was wearing glasses. He took them off me and just whacked me in the face, read my cards. And of course, in a public restaurant, it was a good restaurant, and which I was never able to go back to. And I left the restaurant, went home, went straight to the nearest mirror, cried my eyes out, and accepted some truths about myself. And that was a real seminal experience in my life. It turned my life around. And I realized then and there, you're not going to get very far in life if you are constantly playing the blame game. You have to accept responsibility for your own life and your own choices and your own well-being or otherwise. And it was a seminal moment in my life. It turned my life around, and I will forever be grateful to that gentleman who is now passed. He was a very, very well-known figure in the theater. And
I never heard this story. In all the years I never heard this story.
yeah, so it was eye-opening, heart-opening, all of those things. But, you know, it just reminds me of that old saying, no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
And it was painful, but oh my gosh, I owe him my life, really.
Wow. Wow. That is quite a way to wake up.
Yes, yes, it woke up my soul, it woke up my spirit. And as they say, the rest is history.
And I think, Peter, that people put in your life for that. I mean, I think that gentleman was probably put in your life for that reason, maybe, to happen.
Yes, yes.
And just like you opened my life for what happened to me because of you. I mean, I think that does happen. He was an earth guide of yours.
Well,
you know, we get so caught up in guides in the spirit world, but the guides on the earth, there are many around us, and we just acknowledge them because my life is different as from meeting you, Peter.
Yes.
I mean,
I would we were destined to meet and to be in each other's lives, and I was to be the professional nudge, which I was.
And you pushed me to listen to my intuition, in that I was doing a professional, but listening to my intuition, but yet I was being that human part of me, not listening to my intuition. And the intuition, of course, was like, you got to listen. And we sat in development circles many times.
Many
incredible times we had. And they said you were a guide of mine. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. It really was.
Yeah, it was an eye and soul opening time in my life.
Yeah. And Kellee, you want to ask a question?
I'm always so intrigued to hear you speak. I'm looking at some of these comments here, and everybody is loving your story. A lot of people are saying that they're stuck in grief. People are just stuck. They're frozen. Yes. How do you work with people that are stuck?
Well, it's a multi-pronged approach. I think that first of all, you have to one has to uncover the source of the grief and the, quote, stuckness, if there is such a word. And I think it's very important in moving on from an event that is causing you to be full of grief to the point where you are paralyzed, you know, emotionally and spiritually in every other way. It's very important to understand that the physical presence of somebody that you've lost is not in and of itself final. Your relationship with that person continues. The only difference is it's not physical. And it's good to continue to talk to those people. They're in spirit and they're close to you. And believe, and I believe this is all my heart, that, you know, the relationships that you form here in this incarnation based in love are separated on a temporary basis. That when it's our time to go through that door, as we all will, we'll be reunited with those with whom we have shared love, and even those with whom we have not shared love, people with whom we've had very difficult relationships with. So it's all about really believing that that this lifetime is, in a physical incarnation, is finite. The love, the relationships based in love, and some not, are not finite. They continue when it's our time to cross over and join our soul mates.
Yeah. One of the greatest solutions we have in this world, this three-dimensional world, is that there's death. There is no such thing as death. It's very true. Well, I think, Peter, also souls come together. Before we come into the incarnation, we sit together and plan out our courses, our lessons, our classes that we take. And it might be that, you know, the soul needs an experience of 54 years, of 25 years, of 10 years. A soul needs to go through, or souls need to go through, a son or daughter to pass over, a partner to pass over. And we get so caught up because we think that's not right, that's not natural. But we should look at it as a soul's point of view, not as a human point of view, but the soul's point of view. The soul experience only needs that time on earth, and we all got to go through that. Wouldn't you say, Kellee?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we choose before we come in, and there's an agreement before we come in. And
Yeah.
I love what you said about that, though, Peter, that, it's nothing final. We go through the door when it's our turn, and we'll all be together again.
Yes, and there are steps that you can take if you're paralyzed with grief and sorrow and wondering, how am I going to go on with life? Well, look at the good experiences you shared with that person you're grieving for.
Well,
Peter,
you shared a saying with me years ago. You said this to me, and I'll repeat it to you because I've used it, met thousands of times. And you said to me, the dead never go without leaving a gift behind. And we have to have the faith and courage to open up that gift and see what's inside. And you told me that.
Yes, we have to open up our emotional and spiritual toolbox. We all have them. If we've got the courage to open up that tool, those Sears toolboxes, it's like an inverted pyramid when it's open. Well, sometimes you've got to go to the bottom of it to dig out the right tool that spirit allows us to travel this lifetime with, and use it to get on the move again. People, as we all know, come and go in our life. And, the only reason to keep looking at the past and past relationships is, what can I learn? What can I learn from those relationships? Don't point fingers and play the blame game. Forgive those who've wronged you. But it's very important, and I know Spirit will agree, focus on the present.
It's true.
You can't change what has happened in the past, but you can learn from it and not repeat mistakes, and avoid repetition unless it's working.
Right.
Yeah. Celebrate the successes, celebrate the wonderful experiences you may have had with a person that you're grieving for, and you're stuck. You just can't find a way to move on.
And the thing what's really important to know for everybody is that Spirit hears your thoughts. They know your thoughts. And they get upset when you're stuck. They feel upset about that because they're not stuck and they're free, and they want you to feel their love. But we get so caught up in whether it's guilt or resentment or I shoulda, woulda, coulda, that we cannot be free of it. And they want us to be free.
They want you to get out of being stuck in the past.
That's right.
That's what they want. Yeah. And all you have to do is ask.
It's true. It's very, very true.
It won't interfere with your choices, intellectually, emotionally, or any other way. Just ask.
Why do you think people get stuck, Peter?
Fear.
Fear.
Fear. Fear is, there are two main drivers in life. In my view, that's fear and love. Those are the two drivers. And fear is treacherous. Whatever it is, you can avoid whatever going there. Fear is a retardant. It really is. It doesn't allow you to move forward. And what's the point of being here unless you're moving forward?
That's right. Movement.
Peter, you had some really, really rough experiences when you were younger. Really, yes. You grew up in an orphanage. You had a really tough, as a therapist, I would say a very difficult, challenging life. Yeah. How did you move through fear? And I'm assuming there was a lot of fear during that period.
Yes. I had glimpses of how life could be during that time. My mother was alive and in a relationship, and so maybe a couple of times a year I had a little bit of time in a not even at that time it wasn't a normal relationship. My mother was involved with a married man, and it was when people ask me to describe my childhood, I said, well, there's only one word that really comes to mind, and that's surreal. And because there were moments of sort of normalcy, but most of it was difficult and unhappy. But but all of that, and I have no regrets, because it really toughened me up spiritually in every other way, and it taught me that I have to take responsibility for myself and my own happiness or unhappiness. And the culmination of all of that sort of subconscious learning was that friend in New York who got up and smacked me in the face and said, get over your bad self. And I'm forever grateful to that person. It was a difficult childhood, and but it's made me who I am. I learned a lot of very valuable lessons.
Well, let me ask you something about that. Whenever I've worked with people that have had difficult childhoods, shame seems to be a big one with this.
Yes.
How were you, and if you had shame, how would you advise people to move through it? Because sometimes that gets people stuck.
I think you've got to sit back and say, what am I ashamed of? I didn't cause this. Why should I carry the shame? It's the people who perpetrated abuse on a person that should be carrying the shame, not you, because you're the victim.
Right.
But therein lies another test.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to go through life as a victim.
Yeah.
You cannot change the past, so leave it behind. The only reason to revisit the past is looking at what you can learn from it, what you can construct positively from it, and move forward. Leave the gap behind. All it will do is muddy up your waters. You won't be able to swim the way you could. Just leave it behind. Take only what is valuable.
Yeah, and a lot of these questions we're getting here, people, how do you get unstuck? It was about, especially trauma, neglect. It's the same thing you've been saying. Take responsibility and learn from that experience.
Yes.
And it's not
realize it isn't easy. Just saying the words. I know it's a very difficult thing to do, is to dig yourself out of trauma and unhappiness and disappointment and all the things that contribute to people getting stuck. They just feel overwhelmed and just don't even know how to dig themselves out of that pit.
And also no control, Peter. Also, they might feel they have no control anymore of their lives.
But they do.
But they do. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
You see, and this is the thing, you have to assume control, assume responsibility for your own happiness or unhappiness.
Yeah.
It's, looking only externally is not going to get you very far. You have to look inside of yourself. If there are things inside that you need to forgive yourself and move on. We're just human. We all make mistakes, for goodness sake. And other people make mistakes too. And, I'm in no way trivializing victims of abuse. I'm not. But I do know that if you ask the powers that be for the strength to effect change, it will be given to you. But stop walking around with a big old bag of problems on your back. Let them go. They have no place in your future. As I said, the only reason to look back at them is, what can I learn from them? What's going to make me a stronger person?
There's a great quote here, or a great comment, I should say. Carissa Carrington says, once you let go of the mindset of being a victim, your power is endless.
Amen.
Oh, so true.
Amen. Well said. I couldn't say it better myself.
I think we might have a couple of phone calls. Any phone calls, Renee, we can take? Or no, just maybe not.
Just put the phone number up.
Oh, the phone number. Okay, we have a couple of questions here that are on the comments page.
Yeah.
How do you feel about soul retrieval from Jamie McLean? How do you feel about soul retrieval then? It's supposed to help trauma and the damage left behind. Well,
I don't know much about that.
Well, I first time with soul retrieval, it's when something, supposedly when something traumatic or traumatic happens, that a part of your soul will leave this area, the space, and split up.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you have to come back and become so fully realized at your soul level. I think it just goes back into what we've been talking about here, and being fully realized within yourself.
Yes.
And not being separated, but integrate all aspects of your being. And it goes with forgiving other people to have hurt, you feel have hurt you. That's a hard one to do, but it's a very strong lesson.
But it is absolutely necessary in order for you to move on.
Yeah.
Here's another great comment here. Victimhood mentality does nothing to promote one's future.
Amen.
That's great.
That was
it's great.
Oh my goodness.
Someone wants to ask if you help them with their spirit guides. You contact spirit guides, and I would say you have done that before, at least with me, and in a circle you do that. And I think if that spirit guide shows up, you will indeed tell that person what you're picking up. He's also very psychic, very mediumistic, very psychic, I'd say, and very mediumistic. And he has done that before. So you'd be open to that. That came through in a session with you, correct?
Yes, I'm more probably of an intuitive than anything else. Yeah. I really feel things in my gut, or what I like to refer to as nature's tuning fork. Yeah. And, I rely on that. And it rarely has steered me in the wrong direction. And it's very important, for people to start focusing on the now.
The positive now.
Yeah, the now. The past is gone. The future is unknown. All you really have is the moment of now. So
I have a question, Peter. How do you move people on that are stuck in their career and they want to get to the next chapter?
Well, multi-faceted question really to answer. It really depends on where they are in their career, how long it took to get them to where they are, what it took to get them to where they are, and what is it they are aspiring to. Is it realistic? People spend a lifetime aspiring to become something that is completely, not within their reach. I mean, we all have limitations. It's very important for us to know where those are and what our limits are.
I think also, Peter, we have to have passion with what we want to do.
Yeah. Yes.
When we have passion in it, it falls into place. I know that for sure. Even gardening, I have passion in that. I have passion in design. I have passion in my work. You have to have passion in life. I mean, gosh, imagine a life with no passion. That wouldn't be living. That'd be existing.
Well, the thing is, you know, if you're feeling stuck, change has to come from within us. It can be scary and painful. It doesn't come easily, and but necessary. And if you have the courage to make changes that you know intuitively, you have to make, lots of wonderful opportunities will open for you.
True.
You've got to have courage in life.
You taught me courage, Peter. You taught me courage. You taught me courage.
It's not an easy thing to develop, and some people are born with it. They climb Mount Everest. That takes a hell of a lot of courage. I wouldn't do it. Fear of failure is a biggie.
Yeah.
A lot of people are bound. They're emotionally constipated.
So true.
Because they're afraid of stepping out of the box they're in.
Yes.
So true.
And before you know it, the life has passed them by and they've lived in a box of fear.
Yeah.
Or have courage, you know?
So
do something
true.
new every day. Do something new every day, I always say.
Well,
I think we have a call on the phone. Do we, Renee? Is there? I think we did. One chat. Yes, one call.
Currently, there are no callers. So if you have a call, please call in the number and we'll get you in the show.
Okay, that's great. But there was something here from someone. This is from Robin. Robin Haith says, I'm an empath struggling with my angry adult daughter. Any advice? She's an empath struggling with an angry adult daughter. Any advice?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a daughter, so I don't know. But I'd say, why is she angry? What's causing her to be so angry?
And of course, the mother would take it on as Robin would take it on as it's her fault, but it isn't necessarily your fault, Robin.
Well, and it's tough as an empath too, as a mother and an empath. It's a rough one. To feel anybody's anger, let alone your child's anger. That's a tough one. Set boundaries for yourself.
And separate, right, Kelly? Separate what's hers and what's not hers.
Absolutely. So Melissa asks, is there a good exercise to help stop reflecting on the past so we can move forward? Good question, Melissa.
I would say, the only reason to look past is to understand better how what you experience can improve your future. There are lessons in every thing that we experience. There's a lesson. That's the only reason to look past. Have the courage, just move on.
And that's Peter, I'm being interrupted because you told me this years ago. I'm going to pass it on to people here. An exercise, a basic exercise too, where you get, let's say, a journal or 2 pieces of paper and some crayons or markers. And then one piece of paper is your past, and you color it or you write things down from your past, that your traumas, situations that you went through, things you're stuck in, and color those things different colors that represent what you're stuck in. And the next page will be the future. How do you see yourself in the future? What colors will you use? What situations will happen in the future? What's going to happen when you get unstuck? And that'll be the second page. So that's the past, and then look at your future. And that's a very good exercise to put your mind into the future space.
Yeah, it's important for your mental health not to spend too much time reliving the past. Put the energy into creating and inventing your future.
It's true. Yeah.
Personal.
I mean, I used to talk with Peter every day. I just seriously, I would not be here today without Peter saying this to me every day. You've got to live with this, James. Let go of that. Those people mean nothing. The things you have now mean nothing. I went through a bad marriage. I went through a lot of stuff. And Peter would say, James, is nothing compared to what's going to happen in the future. Just look at your future. And it really is amazing. The encouragement, the advice, the sage advice you gave, seriously. So everyone that's here right now, Peter's a very special person, I gotta tell you. And you're opening up sessions. So tell us about your sessions with people.
Well, they can range from getting unstuck,
yeah,
to that's a biggie, and helping people have the courage and the knowledge they'll need to move forward. And it covers, what I do covers a multitude of sins. Building, rebuilding people. I'm an accountability partner in a way, and help you build and develop a personal action plan, setting goals, making them achievable and reasonable, not so out of this world that because those it's little steps. You can't change everything, in one session, as it were. Took many years to get you to where you are now, and getting unstuck is going to take a little time and work. Be prepared to do the work. Nothing comes, there's not a magic formula. It's going to be different for everybody. I advise on career. I advise on getting unstuck.
On relationships.
Family. Yeah. Yes, all of those things. It covers just so many areas of living and life.
And you also work with people that are transitioning in their 60s, in their 70s, and in their 80s.
Yes. Retirement, and what that means, and how best to prepare for it. And if you're already retired, really how to get the most out of your golden years, as it were. And it's a lot of people, it's an underserved area, because a lot of people really don't prepare for the day when their persona is no longer, store manager, vice president of operations, senior VP, president, CEO, all of those things. And suddenly you'll find yourself, now what do I do? I'm retired. What do I do with it? Well, to be retired is a wonderful status. And but you have to learn how to manage it so that you grow, because we never stop growing. Doesn't matter whether we're 20 or 90. There's always something to learn. You're continually growing. So I help people with their new life in a retired mode, and to find a new purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love what you do with certain people that you give them. I mean, you do, like, as you said, work with each individual in a very individual sense, in a way. And then what else? Maybe you gave them homework to do.
The exercises and homework, and but people have to be willing to do the work. I can't get inside of you and change you. You have to do it. I'm a guide. I can point you in certain directions, say, do this, 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 and this, and be patient. The change you desire will happen for you. Just,
There's a woman named Joy Coran has a comment here. She says, how do you encourage someone to move forward when they may not even realize that they are stuck?
Well, that's a tough one. If they don't realize they're stuck, then we have to go back a while and get a little history of who they are and what brought them to this point. And my guess is, if she is watching this program, then there's a desire there to become unstuck. So we have to explore, we have to explore what it is that's causing her to stick rather than move on.
Yes.
Okay, and there's a Belinda on the phone now. Belinda's on the phone, has a question for you about childhood. Okay, Belinda.
Hey.
Hi, Belinda. You're live in the studio.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I had a question. You were saying it's best just to let things go. I can remember being a child, probably 4 years older, but I remember telling myself it didn't happen, it didn't happen, it didn't happen. And I know it was painful and traumatic to me as a child, but I had really no idea what it was because I completely blocked it out. Is this something I should try to find out what it was, or should I just let it go?
Well, let me ask you this question. Has your life been interrupted? Have you been able to move on with your life? Are you having struggles right now in your life?
I'm actually 56 now. You know, I have grown children, but sometimes I really feel like I'm stuck in certain ways. But I don't know if that's got something to do with it, or
well, there's a couple of things here.
Know.
A couple of things that it could. I mean, and one way to work with stuck trauma actually is through somatic experience therapy, which is traumahealing.org. You can check that out, and they work with trauma that you may not remember when you were 1, 2, 3, or 4. You may not remember it, and so it might help to unstick you and help move on. That's one way to work with something.
My relationships never worked out, you know, as far as, and I've not even been in a relationship since my last child, who was 24, you know, but I don't know if that's got something to do with it or not, but.
Well, it may. Go ahead, Peter.
Well, I don't know. Probably, I would say, just based on my own life experience, let go of the past. Don't keep fretting about something.
Let it go.
Let it go. I mean, it has no place in your life now, but it has.
Right. And I've tried to remember, and I can't remember. Have memories, but maybe that's what I will do. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, sweetheart. Good luck then. We have also Sharon is on the phone. Sharon, a question for you, Peter.
How are all of you?
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm just wondering. Hi. I'm wondering, how do I get unstuck with anxiety and depression and derealization that I've been going through for about 3 months, and I just feel like I'm stuck in a place and I just can't come out of it.
Well, you know, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've kind of been where you are, and not to minimize your pain. I would say you make a decision. This is not the way I want to live. Let it go.
Right.
Just that will unstick you. Understand and recognize the need to change that mindset, and be willing to do the work that's necessary to get you out of that hole you're finding yourself in. Find purpose, passion, and you know, it will enhance your life.
And also what makes her anxious, right, Peter? Find out what it is that makes her anxious. What are those things, those points?
And that calls for some introspection and possibly some real honesty with yourself. You know, some things are very difficult
Right.
for us to accept, and we just, for whatever reason, we just can't let them go. But you know, those things, they're like a tumor inside, and it will metastasize unless you excise it. Find out what's causing you to feel the way you are.
Yeah. And also depression. I mean, you could also, is it clinical depression also? I mean, you have to be with a professional to find out if it's chemical depression. Is there something on that level, or is it emotional? Because it could be those things too, sweetheart. You have to find out, Sharon, exactly where that comes from. And then if it's emotional, if it's not chemical, right, Kelly? If it's not chemical,
Right. And it
emotional.
depends. Yeah, some people really do need trauma work in order to move on, or they need to, to go inward, at least have the courage to go inward and look, what is it? What am I anxious about? And be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
I like that,
Right.
Peter. I
Right.
agree with that.
And Sharon, you did the
Yeah.
number one. The first thing you did was you made the phone call to us. That says, I'm going to make a change. You're becoming aware, and you want to find out more about. If you didn't want to make a change, you would have made that phone call, right?
That's
Right. Right.
a good
That's true.
example of action.
Yeah.
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 Good, Sharon. Good luck, and keep
Okay.
Peter's
Thank
information.
you.
Okay, honey.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Okay. Bye bye.
And here's another one from Diane. Diane, you're on the phone with us. Hi, Diane.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm really good.
You
I just
sound really
wanted to
good.
call because, thank you. I just wanted to call because I recently, so it's been about a little over a month now, I quit my career of 20 years. And, I just felt like, that the past 20 years, a good amount of it has been me being complacent, I guess I feel. And I just feel like I had to close that door in order for other doors to open. But right now, I feel like I'm blind, kind of. Like I'm not sure what, the future holds or which direction I'm going.
But there was a transitional part to this, right? So in a change, when you're making a change, there is I was just talking about this yesterday with somebody. There's a point where you just have to enjoy the moment as if you're in a transitionary period right now. And that's true. And wouldn't you say that, Peter, there's a transitionary period that you have to go through and kind of enjoy that transitional period?
Well, why did you quit what you were doing?
Because I feel like the particular position that I was in for the last 2.5 years, I did not like at all. It was extremely demanding. I felt like I didn't have time for anything else in my life whatsoever. And it would have been hard to even look for another job in my field with that amount of stress. And at the same time, too, over the last, year and a half, I've had some personal things going on as well. So, just a lot of stress, I feel like. I feel quite relieved here in the last, month. I was able to go to Mexico for, 9 days and kind of ground myself, I felt like.
That's very healthy.
Diane.
That's really healthy to do that. That's a healthy thing.
Yeah, you're taking responsibility for your own, happiness or unhappiness, and you took the time to take inventory.
And now you can look forward to your future. You sound like a passionate person, and there are things you want to do in your life. That's why you quit that job too. So now let's find out what makes you sing. What makes you passionate? Let's do those things in life. If your life was over tomorrow, what would you do today?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's an opportunity for you to find purpose and decide whether that purpose is going to enhance your life. And it's time for introspection. I applaud the courage. Yeah, it takes courage to make that kind of a change.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're in the right space, Diane.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are good for you, and some people are like, "Are you sure?"
Well, you know, I always say
I
that
am.
people,
I was.
if there are people in your life that don't support you, say bye-bye. Life is too short. Not that
Yeah.
to tear you down. You don't need
Yeah.
that. Life is too short. If they don't see your beauty and your color, bye-bye. You want people that support and that you connect with, that can build each other up. You don't need people to tear you down,
No.
please. There are not people out there do it for you. You don't need to do it yourself. Have people around you like that. Don't need it.
No, just eliminate them from your life and surround yourself with people who are going to applaud the changes you are making, and people that will nurture you and support you emotionally and in any other way that you need support. It sounds like you're embarking on some big changes in your life. Good for you.
That's exciting, doesn't it? She
Yeah.
feels exciting. You feel exciting.
Yeah.
It is. It is, but it's a little scary too.
Please get over yourself.
And not really scary.
No, you can't be scared. Not you get that energy from you. You'll get it done. You're a girl that gets it done, right? You get the job done.
Yes, I do, and I'm all or nothing.
Exactly. And any that hesitancy or fear, whatever that is, that's from your past stuff, but that's not who you are. You know it. So I don't take that. Good for you. Good for you, Diane. Thanks,
Well,
sweetheart.
thank you very much.
Okay, honey. Okay, bye-bye now.
Hey, Peter, there's a great question here from Katie Tucker. She says, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Good question.
Happy. Well, actually, that was not as flippant as it may have come across. I wanted to be a chef, and I did. I trained for 6 years to become a chef.
Did you know that, Kelly?
I didn't know that. And you know what, Peter? I was a chef. That was my dream too. And then I became a chef. Yes.
Yeah,
We
me
all have to
too.
get together when we can and cook.
Oh, yes, yes. And the primary reason I did that was, A, I love good food. And secondly, I believed it was a skill that I could take anywhere in the world. And that was very appealing to me, because anywhere other than where I was appealing. And I made the decision when I was 23 to leave England, where I was born and raised, and regroup and start fresh, start a new life, and be free of all those negative influences. But
Wow.
don't know if that answered your question.
Well, you did. You've accomplished a lot in your life. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's great when you feel like you've accomplished things in your life you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
But it really does take great courage and fortitude and energy, and you just have to keep going forward.
And believe in yourself.
And believe in yourself.
And find that love in yourself, for God's sake. And no one can fill that void up but you.
Yeah.
But you've got to be prepared to take risks. And where I was coming from was, what the hell? I can't lose what I don't have.
Yeah, very true.
And, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
I'll take my sorry little self back to the scene of the crime, as it were. But that's I wasn't going to let that happen. I'd rather live in a box than.
I entered mediumship with that the same way. I thought, what the heck? I mean, what's the worst going to happen? I mean, helping a lot of people. That doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. But of course, then Spirit was involved, and they supported me the whole way. I think the spirit world supports us if we follow our dreams, and we have that truth, that faith, that courage to live out our dreams and to believe in ourselves. They are right there to support us and help us, and they open up doors. But the human always gets in the way. The human gets in the way. That's the problem. The human gets in the way.
Yeah.
Fear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let go and let God.
Because I do believe this, that each of us, we all live and operate in different levels. But I think each of us knows our own truth. And sometimes it requires great acts of courage to acknowledge it and to act on what we know is our truth. And we have to take risk.
A lot of people run away from their truths, don't they? A lot of people run away from their truths.
Yeah, they do, because you know, they think that staying where they are and not meeting life's challenges, we all have those, is a place of safety, and it's anything but that.
Or filling their lives with things like, you know, we like things, we like material things and big money, or their material things will help us be happy. It will not. It will not.
No,
you have to go within yourself. It'll
enhance you in aesthetically, but just accumulating stuff and things as should we say, a cover-up for other things is damaging. It's damaging to us.
It's damaging. It holds us back from our truth from living.
Yeah, we all have the opportunity at one time or another to accept our own truths, make the changes that are necessary if we find ourselves less than perfect, and importantly, act in a way and go through life in a way that enhances not only ourselves, but other people.
Yeah, for sure.
Enhance their lives with your presence.
You know, you once said to me, Peter, years ago, you said to me, imagine people who live their lives and they pass over and they find that they did not live to their potential.
Oh, yeah.
And a worse sin, and it's going to be the worst sin, that they find that they did not live to their potential and didn't even try.
Yeah.
And it's always stuck with me.
Well, I think one of the things that on the other side, where we will all find ourselves, the place that I don't want to find myself in is a place of regret. And I think that's got to be so painful.
Yeah, true.
When you look at your life and say, oh my gosh, what could have been, what should have been, if only I'd had the courage.
Yeah.
Courage.
Yeah, that's why I wrote the book Unfinished Business, because I was tired of spirit coming through and saying, if only I knew then what I know now, I would have made better choices in my life. I would have lived out of love. I would have not let fear driven my life. And that's why I wrote that book. And it's exactly what we're talking about today. It's getting unstuck. It's believing in yourself. It's jumping out of that box. And it's being true to yourself. There's no way to live, really. You know? And live with no regrets. Be true to who you are.
And it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, you know, if you feel you've hit a wall and you're in a box and feeling constrained and confined, start mapping out steps as to how you can get out of that box. You know, if you're willing to show up and do the work, you'll get a good result. You will.
You'll love
Peter,
this.
how people get. Oh, sorry.
Wait, I have to tell you this first. There's a great comment you'll love, James, from Ardelia from Australia. She says, just like the lion in the Wizard of Oz, courage.
Yes. Courage. Yes.
Amen.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. That's great. And if you're interested in having a session with Peter, let's go to peterredgrove.com. That's right, Peter?
Yes, peterredgrove.com.
And Peter's answer, I mean, the other day he answered 80 emails. I mean, in one day. I mean, I got to give it.
Wow.
I said, Peter, personal attention is unbelievable.
And well, that's what I'm here for now. This is something I feel very strongly about. And once again, you know, what's the point of having all of the life experience I've had? And I'm not stating that in any framework of being a braggadocio, because I'm not. James is the one who pushed me to do this. I don't see any point in having the life experiences I've had unless I'm able to share with those who are willing to participate and share the life's lessons, of which I've had many. I've been swimming upstream most of my life, and that's okay, you know. And it was that early experience as a child, which was, you know, something out of Dickens, with rare moments of happiness, that equipped me to live the life I've lived. So I'm not bitter about it. There was a time until that gentleman friend of mine whacked me in the face in New York, and as I said, read me my cards, and thank God for him. And I do thank God every day.
I never think they're accidents. People always arrive in your life at the right points. Just like people here tonight, you're here because of a reason. You're not just here. I think you're here, but you were led here for some reason. You were led here tonight. It's very true.
You know, it is so important for each person to find purpose and passion in their lives. It will enhance life. Don't be afraid to step out of the box. Don't be fearful. Going through life afraid of everything is miserable. Who wants to live that way? Fear of failure is a very, very powerful retardant. Don't use it. As they say in, you know, the modern vernacular, get over your bad self and move on. Move on. Keep moving.
Yeah, that's true.
Keep moving.
Well, thank you, Peter. Kellee, any
Thank you so much, Peter. People are loving you.
Oh,
This is great. You've got so many great comments here. You know, you've really encouraged so many people tonight.
Well, I that's what it's all about. It's really, you know, extending a hand, saying, you know, I'm here. Let me help you have a better life.
Yeah,
true. You made mine. You made mine.
And help you untangle some of the emotional knots that you find yourself in. And, you know, with people I work with, and I've worked with, as you know, James, people I can't talk
Very
about.
Powerful people, yes.
Hold
on a second.
You know, I help them untangle the knots and move on. Can't stand still. You know, what's that old saying? Life's short and then you die. Yeah. You know?
They love, don't be afraid to step out of the box. That's
true.
One of your quotes tonight. They're loving that.
And I think I've used that description before. I think when we come into this life, I liken it to we're a rough diamond, and every experience we have, it's like the cutter cutting another facet of the stone. And if we really experience life, the beauty of that stone we're polishing, the beauty of that stone will be revealed at the end of our lives. We're rough diamonds, all of us.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you, everybody. And check out Peter at peterredgrove.com. Your life is worth it. Okay, bye-bye.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.